You are now tuned into Story Time Chill with Val and Seal. It's Story Time Chill with Val and Seal. It's Story Time Chill with Val and Seal. It's Story Time Chill with Val and Seal. Yay! Welcome, world, to Storytime Chill with Val and Seal. I am one of your hosts, Miss Cecilia Seal Smith.
And I'm your other host, Valerie Johnson Reed.
Yes, and today I'm super excited. We're smooth into season 2, and we're jumping off season 2, episode 2 with another brother author, Mr. Ray Young Jr. And I'm excited about this. I'm really excited. But before we start the show, I also just want to pay recognition and honor to one of the greats that we lost this week, Mr. Eric Jerome Dickey. Not only was he an innovator and just truly special to the Black literature community, but just literature in general. And so we definitely want to just dedicate this episode to his craft, his heart, and yes, he's amazing. We didn't need to meet him to feel his soul and his spirit through all of the things he was doing. So today's going to be great in his honor. All right.
That's right.
Yes, so we're going to bring on Mr. Ray Young Jr. Make sure you guys show some love. Hey, Ray.
Hey, how y'all doing today?
We're great. How are you?
Man,
How are you?
Doing wonderful.
Yes, I'm so excited for you to be here. Yeah, I mean, hey, I have so many questions, but we're going to say that for Q&A. So yeah, Val, what you got?
All right. So thank you so much for being here tonight, Brother Ray Young. All right. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. So I'm originally from Waco, Texas, where I grew up at. I have a son, which his name is Malik, Isaiah Young. He just turned 6 in November. And I have my lovely wife, Dr. Shaniqua Young, who is a member of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated.
That's
And
right.
we've been married 12 years now, going on 13. So I actually, just a little bit about me. I grew up in a single parent home, faced many adversity, obstacles in life. Dropped out of school after 9th grade. Got my GED. I'm the first in my family to go to college. So in 2019, I finished my second master's degree at Virginia Union University, go HBCUs.
That's right.
My background is education, nonprofit counseling. I currently do corporate life coaching with a nonprofit currently. And then I also have a branding business as well, which is called MYGO, MYGO. It stands for My Greatness Overcomes. And so I integrate life coaching into that. So that's a little bit so far about me.
Okay. Well, awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. We look forward to hearing a little bit more about you.
Sure.
So without further delay, go ahead.
Okay.
Ray Young Jr., take it away.
So this is my wonderful book, Malik and the Magic BowTie, as you can see. And I'm going to read it to you. Okay, let's start. Here we go. It was the day before the election, and Malik was writing his speech. He was in a race for class president. We stayed up all weekend preparing. Malik's dad walked into his son's room and noticed all the crumbled pieces of paper on the floor. He says, "Hey, son, how's the speech coming?" "Great," Malik said, reassuring himself. "I think I have the winning speech right here." "Care if I read it?" asked his dad. Malik shook his head yes and handed over the paper. "This is great, son. It's much better than the one I wrote when I was your age." Wait. You ran for class president?" Malik started to feel discouraged. "I don't know what I'm doing," I never win class president. There's not one kid in the whole class who looks like me. And I don't have very many friends. I've been trying to secure votes. I've done everything I could, and they still don't like me. I understand, son. I look different from my classmates, too. And I also didn't have any friends. His dad said with his hand on Malik's shoulder, "Wait here. I have something for you." Malik's dad went into his room and returned with a small red box. "What's this?" Malik asked as he reached for the book and uncovered a bow tie. This bow tie was mine, and it was my father's, and before that, his father's. The bow tie has been in the family for generations, and it is going to help you win that title. Malik looked at the tie, confused. Sure, it's great. It's a great tie, but nobody wears ties like this anymore. Dad, people are going to laugh at me. They might laugh, but you shouldn't care what they think. Besides, this tie is magic. Magic? What do you mean it's magic? You'll see, his dad said as he walked away. Malik was feeling nervous about his big speech. He also knew the importance of a good night's sleep. He looked over his speech one more time and went to bed. The next morning, while Malik got ready for school, he put on his regular tie. He stirred in his closet as his dad's magical bow tie and decided to put it in his book bag, just in case. Loser! Hey, Malik Stanley. The class bully yelled across the cafeteria. Ready for today, election? I hope you brought a box of tissue for your tears after you lose. Malik's classmates laughed, and he ran into the bathroom. Malik looked at himself in the bathroom mirror. What's the point? Malik said as he threw off his tie. There is no way I can win this election. Just then, Malik remembered his dad's words. They might laugh, but you shouldn't care what they think. Besides, this tie is magic. That afternoon, Malik decided to wear his father's bow tie. And once it was on, he knew he looked sharp. As he walked to his class, preparing to deliver his speech, he felt like a winner and smiled confidently. Malik's teacher called him up to present his speech. He put his paper down and spoke from his heart. As your class president, I promise to do more than just bring you pizza parties every month and create a new recess schedule. I promise to stand up for the students who are bullied. I promise to listen to your problems. And I promise to be true to myself. I hope and encourage you to be true to yourselves too. Malik won the election that day, as well the respect from his classmates. As he walked in the house with his bow tie still tied, he smiled at his dad and said, "You're right. This tie is magic." The end.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Thank you
Yes,
so much,
that's
Ray.
awesome. Yes, I love that message. I love
Such a
that.
beautiful story. Such a beautiful story.
Very much so. And that's just perfect. It's just beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
let's ask you a few questions.
Sure.
Why did you write Malik and the Magic Ocean?
Well, one of the things I saw, especially for like young African American children, it's a rarity that I see ourselves in a lot of books. And also, I wanted of course, the book is named after my son Malik. I wanted something where he would see his name forever. And then when reason why why I picked the bow tie part of it is because, of course, you see, I love bow ties. And one of the things I find with working with youth, especially young men, they don't know how to tie a tie sometimes, or they was never taught by a father figure. You don't see the generational pass downs to them. And then also I look at the bow tie as like, when you first start tying a bow tie, it takes time. And sometimes, everything is not going to work out perfect. And it takes time. It's just like life. You got to continue to work at it, and learn it until you get it right. And so I wanted to integrate those two. And just if you don't mind me sharing behind it, just recently I saw a video of some kids reading the book, and one of the kids said, "I see myself." So I think that's the reason why as well in regards to the book.
Awesome. And
Yeah.
that's such a strong message because I agree with you totally here at Sport Time Chill, is that our children need to see themselves. They need to see that. They need to know that they have stories to tell as well. So thank you so much for sharing that.
And that symbolism as well,
Yeah.
just relating that to life.
Both sides.
I mean, there's
Yeah.
so many angles that were just beautiful. Again, the
Mm-hmm.
relationship between father and son, but then like
Mm-hmm.
you said, bow ties. I mean, unless you get in the clip-ons, it's not easy.
Yeah.
That's
So
right.
if
It's
you're
not.
really trying to work at tying a tie, it is
Mhm.
going to be just like life. It's going to be something you have to practice and practice and keep going until you get it. So that's truly special.
That is. It really is. So why is reading important to you?
Reading is important. One of the things I learned when I was young, and I know it's kind of funny. It's like if you don't know how to read, how to write your checks, anybody can get over you
Mm-hmm.
on you. So
That's true.
also, yeah. And one of the things is that's one of the nuggets that they hide very much knowledge and wisdom into reading it and stuff. So, and I know, and when I look at our history, we had ancestors that fought just to read, had to sneak and hide. Some of them had to wear glasses because they would sit in the dark just trying to read. So you just think of those things, and that's why I believe reading is important.
So much
Thank you.
wisdom.
That's very true. And I think about it now, the opportunities that we have now and our children have now is so much greater than the ancestors that came before us. So we have no reason to be successful, no reason not to read. That's so
Hmm.
true. Thank you for sharing that.
Oh, you're welcome.
Why did you feel that it was important for children, especially our young boys, to hear the message of Malik and the magical guy?
Well, I relate it to me as well. Some of the times, as young African American males in the United States of America, um, we're kind of like set up for failure at times. Um, and then we don't find books that relate to us. And you always hear the prison to pipeline ideals and things like that, because the important, especially when it comes to younger kids, say third grade or fourth grade on down, you got to look at the developmental. That's the most important thing. And what I do, I relate it to the Play-Doh, using the kid analogy. If you take the Play-Doh out and if it sit there for a long time, you're not going to be able to mold it into what you want to do.
Yeah.
So I had to catch it at its earliest stage, just to mold it the way I want it to be. And so, because if it gets hard, it's going to be hard to get into that hard part.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
That's true.
see, it's so many nuggets right now, so many
Yes,
gems already. But I
yes.
just, even right now, like at this very moment, we're in Central Standard Time here, Val and I. It's so much going on in the world. It's a lot going on right now today. And so what I see in just your message and even with Malik and the Magic Bow Tie is it gives people hope. Like reading is
Mhm,
also something that people can get lost in.
mhm,
The fact that, and we'll get into your message, but the fact that he was able to win that class president, like that it brought a smile to me that I didn't have right before this call because of everything that's just going on. So
mhm,
those types of moments, it gives children something to look forward to and hope for this world. And
mhm.
so I just think that it's truly amazing what you did with
It
that, and
is.
just how important literacy is, especially like you said at this age. So yes.
But yeah, I agree with that so much. My next question for you is, who encouraged or influenced you to read and to write a book?
Hmm, that's a good one. Um, you know what? I say after I dropped out of after I dropped out of high school, I really didn't have no passion for reading at the time. Um, I remember sometimes, they say you gotta move out of your comfort zone, out of your circle, and that's where you begin to grow. And so I moved from Texas to San Diego, California at the time, with a GED. And
Yeah.
so, like my wife, she was an inspiration as well, because she had her bachelor's degree. We was going to San Diego so she could work on her PhD. Um, so I started going to school there for my undergrad. And one of the professors, his name was Alfredo Velasco. And he came from a struggle. He came from Calexico, which is a low poverty area. So we had, relations and uh, I'm sorry, we related it on so many situations,
Hmm.
but nevertheless, he challenged my mind. He challenged my thought process in the classroom, and I remember the time he put up 100 books. He said, "Have you read any of these books?" He asked the classroom. I was like, "I ain't
Mm,
never read none of that." He said, "He says you have to read outside of your comfort zone, outside of your
mhm.
norm, in order to develop yourself as a person." And
Hmm.
then you have a better understanding, not just yourself, but people around you, culturally, and everything else. So
Yeah.
that was really what sparked my fire to really just read and learn.
Okay,
That's
that's
special.
good. I like that to be able to get out of our comfort zone. I think that's huge, especially now we're put in situations where we have to get out of our comfort zone. We cannot stay the same
Hmm.
and expect different results. So
Hmm.
I appreciate you saying that. Thank you
Well,
so much.
Val, before we continue, right?
Go
You
ahead.
were in education.
Mhm.
You were in education. Val and I are still in education.
Mhm,
Um, the reluctancy to read.
Mhm.
What is just a solution? What do you think are some solutions that
mhm,
educators and even parents, you know,
Mhm.
can offer? Like, what tidbits can you give them just
mhm,
to
Mhm.
foster that love or that at least appreciation for reading
Right.
again?
Sometimes we try to push our own perspective of books on the kids. Find you got to meet them halfway, 50-50.
Hmm.
What do they like? What's their interest? They like basketball.
mhm,
If they have a favorite player, find some magazines that they can start reading. At least 15 to 30 minutes at night. Like with my son, we have books galore in his room, and he picks me out all the time. He's like, "Hey, Dad, can you come read me a book so I go to sleep?" So we have that's a natural thing.
Yeah.
Take your time. Also, I would say, for as the reading, you want to make sure that you are not rushing them. For as, hey, you got to get into a big book. Start with something small.
Hmm.
mhm,
It takes time. A person said, if you got to pull a little into the cup in order to see it fill up.
mhm.
Come on, GMs.
Yes, that's
That's
right.
that's good. That's good.
That's right. That's good. That's perfect. Hmm. So let me ask you another question.
Yes, ma'am.
So the climate that we're in right now,
Mhm.
how do you feel today's society is different from when you were younger?
Mm.
How
Mhm.
do you feel as far as education, reading?
Mhm.
What are your thoughts or perspectives on reading now versus then?
To be honest, because I'm a very realist person,
Yeah.
so um, the teachers had more power than the students back then.
Mhm.
And the teachers, when they correct you, you were able to have respect for them. I remember at one point I wanted to do some research. When did
Mhm.
behavior really start just kind of growing like this? Want to fight teacher. I don't remember nobody fighting or trying to fight a teacher and
Mhm.
stuff. Um, I still communicate with some of my teachers that was my elementary and middle school band and all that. Today, some kids just don't understand how easy they got it for as the accessibility because we really didn't have the internet. That's when
Mhm.
we was in the AOL stage. You got to wait about 10 minutes.
That's
For it to
right.
start up. For it to
I,
start up.
I
That's
said,
right.
I said if you put a kid right now by next to AOL, they'll go crazy
Yes,
because
Say
they
what?
would.
yeah, information comes so fast and easy. Uh, but all the information ain't good information too. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
um, also you kind of see, you kind of hear sometimes it be, the laziness, you know, uh, the push to want to do stuff,
Mhm.
you want to quit real quick, real easy.
Hmm.
A lot of us didn't have that back then. We had
Mhm.
to really work hard for our stuff. Teachers would come to your classroom even though you weren't even in that class
Yeah.
to, to
Mhm.
correct you. So,
That's
that's
true.
that's just my thoughts. So,
Yeah. Yeah, that
I agree.
respect though, that respect is something
Yes.
serious, and I think that's where it starts. For
Mhm.
in my eyes, just the respect for even your parents. Like even if it
Mhm.
wasn't something I was into, I wanted so badly to make my mom proud. Like I knew how much
Mhm.
she was work. I also grew up. My mom remarried after my dad, but for the most part, single parent household. And she worked so hard, and so anything that I was doing school related, whether it was extracurricular or
Mhm.
in my studies, I just
mhm,
wanted to make her proud. It was that respect. I don't want to cause stress
Mhm.
on her. I want if they're calling home, at least for it to be for good reason. So it was just a respect, I think, for the household, the parents, and
Yes.
like you said, the teachers as well. So even if it wasn't something you were into, you did the best that you could because you
Right.
respect, the people enough to try your best. So
true. So
yeah.
true.
I agree. I agree. And I was just saying that today. Was no yesterday. It was a situation where the teacher had given up her power. And I'm so glad you said that the power that you don't have the power. And it was a situation where the teacher had given up her power. And I was just like, man, how did we come to this point where the teacher feels powerless? It's just like, what happened? It's just baffling. So yes, I have an appreciation for what you said, teaching power. So my next question is, who is your favorite author? It could be a children's author or as an adult, but who is your favorite author?
Oh man, I got so many of them.
Right. Yeah.
You can tell us a few.
I'm not gonna. I'm gonna say specifically the things I really like. I won't say the authors and stuff because there's so many good ones out
Yeah.
there. I'm really big on Black history. Understanding like financial literacy. Um,
Oh yeah.
liberated stuff that will liberate our minds. And I'm a real thinker now. I'm really like trying to learn and understand things. And so I also go outside of my norm. I love culture. I love different cultures and understanding their cultures. Because I know it's not just us in the world.
Mhm. I love
Thank,
it. What
thank
you
you for
feed your
saying that.
mind is important. What you
That's
feed your
right.
mind is very, very important.
That's right. That's right. And so, what advice would you give any aspiring authors, whether it's a children's author, they want to write a children's book, or if it's a child that wants to write a book, or an adult? What advice would you give them?
Hmm.
Be patient is one. Two, just right because sometimes I know some of us are sticklers about the ABCD, the
Yeah.
periods, the comments, the languages, and all that stuff. Just start writing it.
Mhm.
And once you write it, because at one point you're gonna probably wind up getting an editor. That's what your editor is for, to
Mhm.
really fix those errors and make it flow right. It's still your story or whatnot. Unless you are a really, really great writer, that's what I would say.
Yeah.
Um, Two, make sure that it really lines with what you really like. Don't just listen to everybody, because people are gonna want to persuade you to say, "Hey, maybe
Mhm.
you should do this, maybe you should do that." No, I have an intention. Like for my book, I'll just share this real quick. My part was to get the relationship between the father and the son,
Mhm.
the importance of education,
Mhm.
overcoming, seeing the generational thing, and that you could be yourself. That was my 5 points, what you saw in the story.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I don't waver from that. Like me, even to my like illustration. I got to give a shout out to my illustrator.
Yes,
Uh,
those illustrations are dope.
Yeah.
Like really dope.
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
Tyrus Goucher. Make sure you look him up. He's on Facebook. He's also on one of my friends list on Facebook. But
Mhm.
nevertheless, it was confirmation when I saw his artwork, because I wanted something particular. I wanted something to pop out, stand out, and not just. I'm not saying I'm knocking anything, but I had a vision. Stick with your vision,
Mhm.
And it is. I met a friend on Facebook that had a book. They used his illustration, and I asked for the information at the time. You know how you get that information. Let it sit there. And
Yeah.
so, um, I got when I moved out to Virginia. I was walking out of church. I looked to my left. I see this guy standing with his book, and he had the same illustration that I was looking for. I had to run over there and ask him. So you'll know what you want and what you're looking for, and just
Mhm.
stand by there.
That
That's
vision
so
is
true.
everything.
Vision. Stick with your vision.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes. Yes. What would be, and I know we're talking about books, but I feel like you would probably know you're going to have an answer for this question because I just know you do. What is your favorite quote?
My favorite quote.
Ooh.
That's a good one. Oh,
Mhm.
um, doing the unexpected instead of the expected.
Oh, now you know I'm gonna have to write that one on my mirror bell.
Yes, yes,
Mhm.
yes.
That
That's
ooh,
that's good. Okay.
yeah.
And I asked that question because here lately there have been many quotes that I've heard that have just like, oh my gosh, I'm like, man, that hit home or it just struck a nerve, and I was like, okay, gotta write that down.
Mhm.
So I'm big on quotes because I feel like quotes are some of the things that help motivate us to push harder and to be greater people. So thank you for
Great.
sharing that. Thank you for
Yes.
You're
sharing
welcome.
that. Sia, did you have any other questions before we find out where we can follow Mr. Young?
Yes. Okay. So, Ray, we know that a picture can tell 1,000 words.
Um,
What is, if you could pick one picture from your book that, without the words, without the story, just really touched you here, which picture would that be?
I would say the. Oh man, that's a good one.
You need to refer back to the book. You need
Oh,
to you need to
oh
see it.
no.
Hold on, let's see which one touched you here.
Let me see. I would think the hands on the son, where the father is putting his hand on the son's shoulder.
Okay.
You know, that's a comfort. That's a
Mm,
that's a stereotypical breaker right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's a power move. For a son that is down, whatever he's dealing with or whatever he's facing, for the
mhm,
father to come there and just rest his hand upon you and comfort you. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the things, and that it relates to me. Um, me and my dad, we have a great relationship. My dad, of course, is incarcerated. I could go kind of further into that, but um, just his words, man, is just so encouraging. So I think that's very important, especially in today's time as well.
absolutely. That
It's
we all
necessary.
need it.
We need
Even
it.
and I don't care what age. There's going to be a coming time.
Mm-hmm.
There's some people that life or the world has hardened them. And people may say, "I don't need anybody. I'm good. I'm good." We all need at one point or another, that comfort, and like you said, for somebody to just put their hand, even if it's not physical, just feel like someone's hands are around you or on you. And so I think that's yeah, that does it. That does it. So definitely. Yeah. And so one last question I would say, Ray, if you could give your younger self advice, what advice would that be?
Mm, um, that you could do anything you set your mind to, and that you don't got to prove yourself to nobody but yourself.
Mm, yeah, I like that.
That's good.
We're learning that now,
That's
huh,
good.
man? We have all these conversations, y'all. This is not
Yes.
just a Wednesday thing. I am on Val's line all
Yes.
day, every day,
We
and
talk all the time.
we're always having these conversations, and we're still evolving and growing till this day. Like the evolutions don't stop unless you let it stop, but you should always be just striving to be better, and just to, just when you know better, you do better. And I think that's just that's what it where it's at. So that's always the goal. But yeah, so Ray, I know Val is going to close us out with some final things to
Okay.
let us know where we can find you and follow you. So Val, did you want to present present that?
No, you can go ahead. Just tell us where we can find them on social
Okay.
media. The audience find you.
Okay, surely. You can follow me on Instagram. I have two locations you can follow me on. One is that's RYJ THATS RYJ, and then for the book, you can always contact me on there as well. It's Malik underscore Magic BowTie, and then on Facebook, you can follow me on there. It's Malik and the Magic BowTie. And then on Twitter, you can follow me on the same thing as that's RYJ. And then as well as you could, where I was saying that you could find the book at, you could follow me on the it's called Mygo Brand, um, or Mygo on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And then on Instagram is mygo.brand,
Yes.
MYGO.
And Ray, can you let us know again what you said MyGo meant? Because I think that was something, if someone's kept hopping on now, it was very, I loved it. So what is MyGo?
Sure. So Mygo is spelled MYGO. You're gonna probably, if you go to the page, you will see a panther. And the reason why I chose the panther now was because the panther is very unique, especially in the African area. And so I believe every one of us have a uniqueness to ourselves. And that's why I chose the logo. And oftentimes when you come with brands, some brands don't mean nothing. It's just a name. So when it comes with Mygo, it's MYGO. If you break the word down and syllable it, it's a my go. It's my turn. So
Oh,
so it stands for my greatness overcomes. It don't matter if you overcome, it's overcoming business, overcoming a health issue, overcoming a test, overcoming to get that degree. So my greatness overcomes.
love it. MyGo, you guys. It's your turn. You heard it here. All right. So, Ray, let us know what your preferred method is for people to support your book, because we know that between you and, these illustrations, like people are going to be coming
Yes, they are.
um, to support. So, where is your preferred way for people to purchase and support your book?
Okay. So it's two locations. You could go on Amazon. Also, you could go on my website. It's www.mygo-brand. So MYGO with a dash BRAND.com.
Perfect. All right, Amazon and mygo-brand.com. And we'll also edit this live stream post, and I'll put all of the links in the post for people that may have missed the live stream. So definitely make sure you all support. Val, did you want to, say your gems before we close out?
I do. I do. I do. Well, thank you so much, Brother Ray Young, for blessing us with Malik and the Magic Bow Tie this evening. We
Welcome.
enjoyed the story. We enjoyed hearing about Malik and his father, their relationship, and not only their relationship, but just being able to have the support and just being able to have the confidence to want to run for president, class president, and just being successful, experiencing success. And that's such a strong message for our boys and girls to hear today. One of the things I heard when you introduced yourself, Ray, is that you said that you dropped out of school after ninth grade, you got your GED, and then you fast forwarded, and now you have two master's degrees. So that says a lot about you as a person. That says a lot to our kids, our children, our families. That even though things happen in our lives, we can still rebound. We can come back, and when we come back, we can come back even greater. So thank you for sharing the story of Malik and the Magic Bow Tie. Thank you for helping us. My goal is we know that my greatness overcomes. And just thank you for your positive message and reassurance that reading is important, that we have to teach our children to the love of reading, but we also want to encourage them to read something that they enjoy reading to get
Mm-hmm.
started. Because we do know in our community so many times our boys and girls don't like to read because they're just not interested. So thank you for giving us the tips on getting them interested, getting them involved in reading, and from there we know that they will be successful. We
Yeah.
know that readers are leaders. So thank you so much for coming on Story Time Tip with Val and Seal. We look
Yes.
forward to you coming back again with another story that I'm sure you're going to write. Don't know what that is yet, but
It's already there. It's in the
it's gonna
mind.
happen. It's gonna
Yes.
happen. So
Yes.
thank you so much for sharing.
Mm-hmm.
Thank my sorry, your wife, for sharing your time. And being able to be on our show, and your son Malik. Thank you for allowing us to share your dad right now. So thank you so much for being on our show. We look forward to you coming back soon. Take
Mm-hmm.
care, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank y'all so much for
Absolutely.
your time.
Of course, right? And everyone at home, just again, remember to support, support, support. Again, I know we dedicated this show to the late Eric Jerome Dickey, but you're looking at Black authors, you're looking at Black excellence all around you. It's so important that even when we are no longer here physically, that our gifts and our craft, it carries on and it keeps going. So again, just know that there is purpose even in the obstacles. Use those obstacles to drive you. All right, use those obstacles to drive you. Mr. Ray Young Jr. sat here in his transparency and his truth about how he could have came here and was like, everything's great, I've always been amazing, life is good, it's always been good. But no, he talked about his stories of adversity, of challenge, and how he managed to overcome. So continue to have these conversations. Continue to, when you're ready, to live your life unfiltered so that people can get a sense of hope from even your stories and how you've managed to turn even trauma into triumph. Okay, so support Mr. Ray Young Jr., Malik and the Magic Bow Tie. You will be able to see this on different social medias, catch the replay, share it, tag your friends, support this, put this book into households. This week, these books need to be shipped out, you guys. Children can never have enough books, and Black children can never have enough books that show true representation of themselves. Okay. So again, Mr. Ray Young Jr., thank you for being here. Tell your family we say hello, best of wishes, and we can't wait to just support you as our brother author now and in the future as well.
Thank y'all so
So you
much.
guys stay on, and we're going to close out with Story Time and Chill with Val and Seal. And we hope that you have a wonderful week, everybody. It's been amazing. You are now tuned to Story Time and Chill with Val and Seal. It's Story Time and Chill with Val and Seal. It's Story Time and Chill with Val and Seal. It's Story Time and Chill with Val and Seal. Good night, everybody.